another young teen and that teen's mother during the sleepover in the Ballin Isles community. The question for jurors will be, was Johnson insane at the time? Prosecutors say Johnson, who was 17 that night in 2018, was a disturbed teen filled with hate who tried to fit in by following the terrorist group ISIS and stabbed Giovanni Sierra to death after months of watching gruesome and graphic terrorist videos.
The defendant killed Giovanni Sierra Brand, tried to kill Dane Bancroft, and tried to kill Elaine Simon in the name of ISIS.
The defense says Johnson was delusional, depressed, suicidal, and psychotic after stopping taking his medications, and he did not realize what he was doing. Closing arguments should end within the hour, and then tomorrow the case will go to the jury. The judges told them they can take as long as they want to decide this very disturbing case. Live in West Palm Beach, I'm Terry Parker. Back to you.
A renewed sense of urgency as Democratic lawmakers feel more pressure to deliver on President Biden's economic agenda. How a flurry of late-breaking adjustments could impact you.
Plus, investigators uncover plans to disrupt the power grid, the potential plot, and the alert Homeland Security officials are issuing right now.
And coming up all new at 5:30, why tourism officials along the Treasure Coast are telling people, quote, don't come here. You're watching WPBF 25 News at 5. Tonight, a newly released intelligence bulletin obtained by ABC News is revealing a potential plot to disrupt the U.S. electrical grid.
A modified drone was recovered from the top of a Pennsylvania building in July 2020, right next to an electrical substation. The Department of Homeland Security says it was likely intended to disrupt operations by creating a short circuit to cause damage to transformers or distribution lines.
Drones are very difficult to detect and even harder to defend against. And there are so many targets, critical infrastructure, power plants, dams, water purification plants, that it makes it almost impossible to defend everyone.
Now, it did not disrupt the electrical grid, but officials believe it was the first time a drone has been used to try to deliberately damage our energy infrastructure. A new study showing promising results. What we're learning about cervical cancer rates in women who've been vaccinated against HPV.
Plus, a dangerous encounter.
We saw a hole all the way down to his brain.
How far one small animal went to protect his family from a wild animal. You're watching WPBF 25 News at 5.
Welcome back, everybody. Cloudy skies across South Florida now. Radar is quiet at the moment, but again, 2 rounds of rain coming our way, one tonight, the other tomorrow, with the potential for some severe storms across South Florida. Let's begin with a look outside. Here's a look at our first morning sky cam network from the Jupiter Beach Resort, and I'm really not surprised. There's no one on the beach right now. Not exactly a beach night with mostly cloudy skies, although temperatures are not bad. Mostly upper 70s, as you can see. 80 right now in West Palm, 78 in Okeechobee. And by the way, speaking of temperatures and looking ahead, Sunday morning could be chilly by South Florida standards, by far the coldest air of the season so far. And when you use that word cold, talking temperatures Sunday morning in the 50s, maybe a few spots in the 40s. But first, we have to get through the rain, the storms, one round tonight, another tomorrow, and look at the Sunshine State. Not necessarily today, mostly cloudy skies all day today as tropical moisture starts to make a return. Again, the radar is quiet at this hour, but we're expecting some showers and storms to develop towards south and work their way towards South Florida. And as you can see, the timing is later on tonight. So 5 o'clock, 7 o'clock, not much doing by 9. Look at the rain chances. They go up dramatically across the Palm Beaches and the Treasure Coast. All of this with the potential for severe weather, a marginal risk, or as we like to say, an isolated risk of strong to severe storms, heavy rain, wind gusts up to about 60, and perhaps a rogue tornado. Here's the setup. Cold front kind of lays toward north. It's more of a boundary than a cold front at the moment, but as it sags toward the south, look at all this heavy rain that will move across South Florida, hopefully ending by late tomorrow afternoon. Then tomorrow night, low pressure moves right across the Sunshine State. That'll shift the winds and pull in by far the coolest air of the season as we head into Saturday night and Sunday morning. Again, chilly by South Florida standards with temps in the 50s. As you can see, the weekend looks spectacular. High temps, though, will be below average, especially Sunday. The high on Sunday, just 74. Some spots on Sunday may see high temperatures just in the upper range of the 60s. But first, we have to go through the rain. Tonight and again tomorrow, cloudy periods of rain. Overnight lows tonight in the 70s. Tomorrow already declared a first warning weather day. Again, we'll be on the air all day. All of our platforms keeping you up to date. Heavy rain, certainly one of the big concerns. High temp tomorrow, about 78. Boating, some issues here. There's a coastal flood advisory in effect. So tomorrow morning between 8:30, 9:30, 10, we may see during the high tide some minor flooding right along the coast. Again, big storms tomorrow, sprinkle early Saturday morning, high temp Saturday 79. Look at Sunday, 50s, high temp Sunday 74. And all of next week, as you can see, temperatures below average until next Thursday. And that is your weather.
Mike, thank you. Democratic leaders are pushing to vote as soon as tonight on President Biden's Build Back Better spending bill.
But lawmakers are still racing to finalize details of the legislation, and there are new questions about its cost. Elizabeth Schulze has the latest from the White House.
A new sense of urgency among top Democrats on Capitol Hill to take action on President Biden's economic agenda.
The more results we can produce in a way that people understand in their lives, the better it is.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is pushing for votes within days on the president's two signature pieces of legislation. The $1.75 trillion Build Back Better spending bill investing in climate, childcare, and education, and the roughly $1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill focused on roads, bridges, and high-speed internet.
They want us to get this bipartisan infrastructure package across the finish line.
The Joint Committee on Taxation out with their analysis of the social spending bill today, saying it will raise $1.5 trillion over 10 years, mainly by targeting large corporations and the wealthiest Americans. Democrats vow the plan will be fully paid for, but moderate Senator Joe Manchin is still sounding the alarm about its price tag, insisting on CNN Democrats must slow down and assess its impact on the deficit and inflation.
People are scared to death in West Virginia about the high rising cost of gasoline, of food, now of utilities. The basic needs of life is going up and making more of a burden on them, no matter how much money we send out.
Acknowledging all 50 Democratic senators must be on board for the spending bill to pass, Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is aiming for a Senate vote by the end of the month.
The Senate continues to achieve progress in our goal of passing Build Back Better before Thanksgiving. That's our goal.
President Biden says the election results in Virginia and New Jersey showing big gains for Republicans are a message from voters that they want Congress and the White House to get things done. Elizabeth Schulze, ABC News, the White House.
A health alert tonight and a new study showing a major reduction in cervical cancer rates in women who have had the HPV vaccine. Researchers found an 87% reduction in detected cervical cancers and a 97% reduction in precancers. The vaccine is FDA approved for boys and girls starting at the age of 11 or 12. It's also approved for so-called catch-up doses for both men and women who have not been vaccinated up until age 45. Men can also be diagnosed with HPV-related cancers as well as women.
Airbnb has announced it will crack down on New Year's Eve parties. From now on, guests with negative reviews will be prohibited from making one-night reservations in entire home listings on New Year's Eve. The company will also be more strict on two-night reservations. Guests with a history of positive reviews will not be subject to restrictions.
Well, we all know that dogs are loyal, but this takes it to a whole new level.
A canine protected his owners from a mountain lion in Southern California. The big cat was in the backyard, and Rocky the dog went right for him before he was able to get to the family. While he chased it away by running down a hill, his owners chased him to make sure he was okay. Unfortunately, he had 8 large puncture wounds after his tussle with that mountain lion.
To make sure that I was okay. That's the whole reason why they went after the mountain lion. It's because I opened that door.
You guys weren't scared running up the hill after a mountain lion?
We wanted to protect our dog.
Oh, poor Rocky. The dog's wounds required 30 stitches. The good news, he's expected to make a full recovery. Now that is a good dog.
You know what our dogs would do? They'd stand behind the sliding glass door and bark. All 3 of our dogs.
Lola would run behind us.
Exactly. Well, next, a lesson in kindness from some trick-or-treaters.
I didn't expect to see that, and especially without an adult even with them. It was just the kids decided to do that on their own.
A new twist in a Halloween tradition, why a group of friends decided to leave candy rather than collect it.
And coming up in just minutes at 5:30, Halloween may have only been 5 days ago, but West Palm Beach is preparing for the holidays. Why sand is arriving so early for Sandy Tree. A group of Rhode Island trick-or-treaters pulls off a Halloween act of kindness.
When they discovered an empty candy bowl at a dark house, they decided to actually give up some of their own stash instead of moving on to collect more treats.
Oh. It's just like this instinct that we had just to kind of like, you know what, let's just make someone's day if we can.
I had seen a lot of stories of not so nice things happen, you know, with people who left their bowls out, and it was just a nice story.
Homeowner posted the video on social media, and the boys say giving away their hard-earned candy wasn't too hard because what they did was the real treat.
Oh, how sweet.
You're watching WPBF 25 News at 5.
Now at 5:30, don't come here. That's the message championed from Treasure Coast tourism officials.
If you saw an ad that said, "Don't come here," what would you do?
Why their unusual plea is actually meant to do the opposite.
Plus, saving your coins, sort of, what will soon be banned as pavement along the turnpike.
First at 5:30, we are preparing for a 1-2 weather punch over the next 24 hours. Here's a live look right now at downtown West Palm Beach. However, in just a few hours, it's round one. The storms come in with some bringing heavy rain. Thanks for staying with us. I'm Felicia Rodriguez.
And I'm Tiffany Kenny. And then tomorrow, it's round two with the potential for heavy rain and flooding. We are already calling it a first warning weather day. Severe weather expert Mike Lyons is tracking the impact of your next 24 hours. Mike?
Yeah, double punch. One tonight, not so bad. Just some moderate rain across South Florida. Maybe a rumble of thunder. Tomorrow, different story. Friday could be a complete washout, beginning early, continuing just about all day, with the potential, yes, for some severe weather. Right now, looking live, First Warning Skycam Network, just mostly cloudy skies along the Treasure Coast. And at the moment, First Warning Doppler radar is pretty quiet, although you can see on Florida's west coast, showers beginning to pop there. Here in Palm Beach County, nothing yet. But our computer model's pretty bullish on some activity this evening. Here we are tonight, 5 o'clock. Let's roll it in action. And you can see the showers building from the southwest and working their way across Palm Beach County about 9:30, 10 o'clock to a lesser degree for the Treasure Coast. But by 2 a.m., that first round should be done. Again, nothing severe tonight, but just the potential for some pretty good soakers. Tomorrow, it's a different story. We've got severe weather in the mix as we head toward Friday. First, as you can see for the Treasure Coast, as early as 9 a.m. Then watch this. Talk about heavy rain and soaking rain. Look at that. That's our future track at 1 o'clock. Embedded in all that rain, the potential for some high winds, 40, 50, 60 miles per hour, even an outside chance of a tornado. The good news, by 4 p.m., our computer model suggesting all this rain moves away. But before that happens, the potential tomorrow for heavy rainfall. We could see some flooding. Coastal flooding is an issue as well, especially during high tide between 8:30 tomorrow morning and 9:30 tomorrow morning. Strong wind gusts, and yes, we cannot rule out an isolated tornado. The good news, the silver lining in all the dark clouds. What do you see the weekend forecast? By far, the coldest air of the season so far. Some spots, maybe the 40s. We'll talk more about that when I'm back with my full forecast in a couple minutes.
If you saw an ad that said, "Don't come here," what would you do?
I think they were a little crazy. Definitely think they were crazy because it's beautiful here. It's a place you definitely want to be.
We have to agree. It is so beautiful here. In fact, that tourism agencies along the Treasure Coast are telling people, don't come here.
Our Angela Rozier joins us live tonight. And Angela, what is the idea behind telling people not to visit the Treasure Coast?
Oh, they definitely have a plan behind that slogan. And we also have some visitors watching me today. But I did talk with the tourism and marketing director here in St. Lucie County, and she says they wanted to come up with an ad that would stand out.
It's time for Don't Come Here, Stories of the Treasure Coast.
Yes, you heard right.
If you saw an ad that said, "Don't come here," what would you do?
I think they were a little crazy.
Or sarcastic. It's part of a just launched podcast called Don't Come Here, Stories of the Treasure Coast,
where we talk about beautiful beaches, stunning sunrises, and unforgettable experiences. So, if you don't like that sort of thing, definitely don't come here.
The name of the podcast, Don't Come Here, is from a campaign that we launched in the summer of 2020. And really the thought behind it is, of course, it's a little snarky and it's a little sarcastic, but we needed to stand out in a very ad-cluttered world.
Nearly 2 years into the pandemic, business is better.
The Treasure Coast is doing great. St. Lucie County specifically, we are seeing tourist tax collections at an all-time high.
I'll see you soon. Nice to see you.
Donna Quarstrom owns the Cobb's Landing restaurant here in Fort Pierce.
There was a lot of local people until recently. It seems like a lot of people are coming from up north, and I think it's starting to be what is normal again.
This woman visiting from New York would choose the Treasure Coast no matter what.
The air is fresh and beautiful. The boardwalk is beautiful, nice and relaxing.
Tourism officials like what they see and hope the new campaign will help continue the trend.
I think it's catching the eye of a lot of people, and that's what we wanted. And it's the podcast itself is really just another platform for us to tell the story of the Treasure Coast and what makes it so special here and what makes this place of Florida so unique compared to other places that you could choose to vacation.
Unique indeed, and officials say they hope to release one podcast a month. Reporting live in St. Lucie County, Angela Rozier, WPBF 25 News.